local followers on their feet with a series of attacks which have stretched England. And the one thing you can say about Turkey is they're not afraid to shoot. Presented with an opportunity 25 yards out, they strike the ball with some power and some confidence. This was Rezar, the number 6, who really plays right back. Getting bypassed in midfield again. This is Iskender, and the Turks have got the whole game at the moment. That's the sweeper Erhan going forward. Battle in midfield is certainly not being won by England. Just wonder, without trying to make excuses, whether Robson and Hoddle, or either of them, are feeling those injuries which have been so carefully nursed. Certainly neither has been the driving force that they can be. Here's Sansom, Hoddle now. Substitutes warming up for the moment from both teams. Number 7, Ure, had a good match in midfield. Ismail. Erdal. Tackle was important. Anderson. 26 minutes gone in the second half here in Izmir. If you joined the match late, it hasn't been a memorable one from the England point of view. The score is 0-0, and Turkey have certainly had the better of things in the last few minutes. But here's Lineker for England, and Chauvin makes a mistake, and Allen volleys from Robson's pass. Well, needless to say, a point dropped here by England would make our qualifying job that much harder. Another match being played in the group tonight between Northern Ireland and Yugoslavia. And down on the England bench there is activity. Mark Hateley and John Barnes, perhaps predictably, are getting ready for what looks to be a double substitution in a moment or two. And I don't think Bobby Robson dared leave it any longer. We've got 18 minutes to go, and England have not made the kind of impression in any sense in attack that one was expecting. Gary Mabbott has joined the forwards as Glenn Hoddle prepares to take this free kick. Iskender, challenge, Kenny Sansom, Allen to his left, Lineker to his right, but Sansom seemed to get caught between the idea of a cross and a shot, and what came as a result was pretty feeble, as his gesture acknowledged. And there are the two England substitutes. Mark Hateley, the obvious threat in the air, if we can change our game rather, and John Barnes, who should be able to supply the kind of crosses that he might thrive on. Just watching the rerun of the Kenny Sansom incident. Steve Hodge and Clive Allen are the two players who've been brought off. Barnes will take up the left wing position, and Hateley will play up front with Lineker. Reserve. Sansom. Barnes. Hately. Robson. Barnes. But a chance here for either one of the subs to make a much-needed impression. And there is Hately, and here's Robson. Wouldn't run for him, defender in the way. It was the right idea, though. The sort of thing England must be looking for, to use Hately's height in the old-fashioned English tactic, if you like, but nothing else has worked, so with a quarter of an hour to go, that's who they're looking for. Turkey 0, England 0, in a country where England scored 8 goals 2.5 years ago. Barnes. Volleyed clear by Erhan. And now Erdal, who's always been dangerous. Chris Waddle. Well, Hately really won that, but the foul's already been given. Turkey themselves are thinking about making a substitution at this stage. Preparing to come on. Here's Sansom. This is Barnes. Now he really has got to try and do what he did against Argentina, which seems a strange thing to say when you're playing opposition as different as Turkey, but he needs to make that immediate impression as Gary Lineker goes down, heavily tackled again. He's had a really fruitless night. And the yellow card has been shown for that challenge, but almost immediately the Turks have made a substitution anyway. Ilyas has come on, number 14. Lineker has taken 4 or 5 really nasty challenges from behind, singled out obviously as the danger man by the Turks. What it will do is give England the chance maybe to find Mark Hately from the free kick. Mabbutt is over there too. Wasn't played that way. This is Barnes. Barnes. Sansom. Whistle's gone. Ali Choban, the number 4, who was booked just then before the substitution for chopping Lineker, was described by Bobby Robson with perhaps a little bit of overstatement as a real villain when he saw him play against East Germany. He's a very tough, ruthless defender, and he was cautioned for that last tackle on Gary Lineker. Well, there are only 12 minutes to go. England have yet to score, but here's Mark Hately. And Lineker's coming in from the far side. And how did he fail to convert that? It was almost back to the chance in Monterrey against Portugal, when you thought he was certain to score. Hately did the right thing and somehow he couldn't make the right sort of contact, Gary Lineker. Maybe still recovering from the bashing he took a few minutes ago. It was certainly England's best move, and Haitley, having come on as a substitute, created the opportunity. You think I'm getting over-enthusiastic about that? Well, those of you who've been with the match all through will know that we haven't seen too many openings of that sort from England. The ball was in the net once, but Clive Allen's goal ruled out, and I have to say I think that must have been for offside. Here's Anderson. Waddle. Well, these Turkish players are going to be national heroes if they get so much as a goalless draw here, and they could have almost at times in the second half done better than that. They've had 2 or 3 very good shots at goal. And there are 10 minutes to go with the score Turkey 0, England 0 here in the European Championship in Izmir. Haitley gets angry now with Ali Choban. Number 14 there, who's just come on, Ilyas. Looks for the overlapping player, who is Hassan, and Erdal's in the middle, and Viv Anderson having to concede the corner. Turkey playing now with pace and belief. Corner to Turkey. Ismail has gone across to take it. Hassan is in there. So is Erdal. And Woods did very well there, punching well clear. Back in by Savaş. And Erdal, goodness me, there was no flag. That was a chance. Erdal had stayed in the danger area. England pushed out. The linesman did not raise his flag. And had Erdal made contact there, well, it could so easily have been a goal. Turkey have excelled themselves in the second half, but against that, one has to say that Mark Haitley, for kicking the ball away and for the challenge on Choban, has been cautioned. Choban actually had a go at Haitley a few minutes ago, and in that last challenge, Haitley was clearly looking for revenge, and the referee shows him the yellow card. The number 4 is at the centre of it all. He it was who was booked for the foul on Lineker, Ali Choban, and now Mark Haitley, trying to even things up, has himself been booked. This was the chance at the other end. He was left clear and onside. So it's a yellow card for Haitley, and frustration here all round for England. Only 8 minutes to go, no score, and if anything in the second half, Turkey having more of the goal attempts, as they did in the first half too. Here's Barnes, but there's just no pattern to the England attack. Ilyas for Turkey. Rezer. Again, one doesn't want to make too many excuses, but there are some tired England legs out there. Whether that's the culmination of a lot of league football, which Trevor Brooking referred to earlier, I'm not quite sure. On by Haitley. Waddle. Leaving the throw for Gary Mabbott. Haitley's up with the goalkeeper. Didn't make contact properly, but forced him to drop the ball. Here's Adams. Waddle. Tries to find Lineker, but again, misunderstanding when the ball reaches the edge of the penalty area. Well, where has that clinical finishing and attacking play that we saw in Spain gone to? One reason perhaps is the man sitting in our studio, Peter Beardsley, being absent from this match. Here's Haitley. Turkey waiting to bring on their second substitute. Flags up there anyway. And the man coming on is number 15, Fayaz, who scored 17 league goals this season for Besiktas, the league leaders. We've talked about England missing certain players. Let's not forget that the Turkish manager is without his first choice 2 strikers. And he looks like pulling off what in the terms of their own country would be a quite remarkable result here. Hassan is the player coming off. There are only 5 minutes to go. It's Turkey 0, England 0. Little consolation in the fact that England still haven't let a goal in this European Championship, because after all they were expected to score a few today. Robson, Waddle, and Haitley! Oh, a fine save, a really good save by Fakir. That was the sort of cross that England were looking for from Chris Waddle. The kind of header that Haitley would normally produce, but a superb save by the goalkeeper. But can it lift England to something better? Lineker. Waddle again. And the goalkeeper comes this time to meet it, and he's on a high now. 29-year-old keeper from Galatasaray. It's a wonderful save. Indeed, it was the Turkish goalkeeper who thwarted our under-21s yesterday. Lineker tries to get away from Samir, his marker. Still Lineker. Robson's coming in, away by number 7, Ure. Abbott. Adams, off the number 7, Ure, into the hands of his grateful goalkeeper. Only 3 minutes to go. Oh, and a burst here from Savaş. Oh, the Turkish crowd waiting for the final whistle now. This is Mark Haitley. Barnes. Hoddle, Barnes again. Down on the edge of the area, no foul, says the referee, and Turkey can break. That's Erdal. This is number 14, İlyas. Gets it back from Erhan. İlyas. Challenge coming in from Tony Adams. Well, both goalkeepers have made one outstanding save in the second half. Woods from Erdal at the near post. Fakir from Haitley's header. But that's not much consolation to England in what has been a lacklustre performance, and looks like costing us a European Championship point with 2 minutes to go. Turkey might want to make it 2 if they can. Anderson half in there. Savaş. İlyas. And England having to throw the tackles in here to keep Turkey out. Well played by Barnes. In fact, there is just over a minute on our watch. And if you've been with us during the second half, well, you've seen a more exciting game than we saw before half-time. But whichever way you look at it, it's been a forgettable performance by England. Abbott. Not to take anything away from Turkey, whose football has improved quite enormously since that 8-0, 5-0 double thrashing they had by England in the World Cup qualifiers. And the Turkish photographers are all round their coach, Mustafa Denizli, down on the bench. They're going to regard this as a wonderful performance in their football history. Now that's certainly one of the best they've had in terms of the result. Holding England to a draw is almost like winning the World Cup for Turkey. And indeed, that's just what they've done. The whistle goes, and the Turkish manager is a hero as Bobby Robson walks away a little crestfallen after a performance which England will not want to remember. Certainly Turkey having as much, if not more, of the few goal attempts as England. Two good saves, not a great deal of pattern to England's play, and obviously a lot of tiredness very apparent as England walk off, surely bitterly disappointed. It could have been worse because Turkey at one point threatened to win the game. England had a goal disallowed, offside I think, the Clive Allen effort. But we've dropped a point here in the European Championship, and the final score in Izmir is Turkey 0, England 0.
Well, indeed, a little better than the first half, but a 0-0 draw gave England 1 point there. Peter, we could have a look at that table now and just see how we stand, and give us some encouraging words over that table, Peter.
Yeah,
what are you going to do from then on?
You know, you start, you've obviously got two.
Equalises for Bulgaria.